Rasul, we're going to leave it there for now, and we're going to cross over to Ankara, where Şaban Kardaş can join us. He is the president of Middle East Strategic Research, the Middle East Strategic Research Center, and a professor at TOBB University of Economics and Technology in Ankara. Thanks so much for joining us. I don't know if you were able to hear that conversation between me and Rasul here, as well as what the OSCE observers had to say. As we said, there was kind of a litany of complaints against the actual fairness of the election that they seem to deem unfair and undemocratic for a number of reasons. I'd first like to know what you think of the OSCE's assessment.
Well, in the previous elections as well, from time to time, there were similar criticisms and following reports. But my own sense is that on the global scale, overall, some of those points made by the international observers do not affect the final outcome. What I mean, they may have been identified some local irregularities at different polling stations or in different cities, but on the global scale, I think the election process has gone through a fair and democratic process. What I mean is the following. I mean, in terms of the access to the information about the package that contained 18 articles, but very major ramifications. When we look at the Turkish mainstream TV channels, news channels, including the state-owned channels, we have had different TV programs, experts from all sides, representatives of all parties. They were debating extensively, time and again, every night, every single article, every single phrase. I think there was enough public discussion about the content. And also in terms of running campaigns to inform the people, we have seen the political parties, but in many places, for instance, the initiative coming from university students that are studying law, voluntarily trying to inform people. So I have seen many efforts to expose the public to the proposed changes. So in terms of access to information, I don't think there was a major breach. Maybe the only thing that can be raised against the campaign, in my understanding, there might have been some unbalanced representation in terms of the yes campaign and no campaign, but this is to some extent understandable given that in the last 15 years or so, Turkey has been going through what the political scientists call dominant party system. One single party was able to win successive elections, and over time it creates a culture where there is natural tendency on the part of the media, on the part of different outlets to give it more coverage. So there may have been some imbalanced coverage in terms of the yes or no campaigns, but I don't think there was a structural bias.
Okay, but given what the OSCE has said, and that the opposition seems so convinced and so passionate about their claim that this result should be annulled, they say the vote was held under a state of emergency, that opposition leaders weren't able to campaign fairly, similar to along the lines of what the OSCE had to say. What do you think are the chances that this outcome will actually be changed?
Well, I don't think there is a major ground to cancel it. Firstly, the fact that it took place in the conditions of emergency law. In advance, the opposition accepted. They did campaign, they participated, so there is no ground to make such an argument. The most visible ground that the opposition has been publicizing since the close of the polling stations yesterday, the issue about validating the ballots, the so-called stamped or unstamped, but as Resul also referred to last night when the head of the election board was speaking, in the past they did have a similar practice where unless it was clearly proven that the ballot papers were brought from outside, they would give the benefit of doubt and positively judge on the papers and accept and count those ballots. So this is, according to the explanation of the board president, gonna go through. If the opposition pushes their case based on that, I don't see any chance the results will be annulled.
Okay. Şaban Kardaş, thank you so much for joining us live there from Ankara.